Good morning and welcome to my garden. Good morning to January. This week expecting tops between the high 20s and the low 30s. There's currently a cyclone about 1,000 kilometres north of us, and so we're expecting a lot of rain in the next couple of days. My east wedge garden has finished with its crop of corn. The society garlic still looks beautiful around the edges, but it's kind of being taken over by this vine. One of the things we have to deal with on this property, we have a lot of vines that pop up everywhere. Some of them are pea plants, like this. Just want to climb whatever I've planted. I scattered quite a few carrot seeds through this space, and a lot of them are coming up. My rosella plants have started to produce fruit. That'll be good, I can make some more rosella jam. My yellow beans are coming to the end. There are still some beans on the bush, but they're very small and malformed. My first okra has appeared on my okra plant here, so I'm really looking forward to plentiful okra. Contour 1 on the east. My garden's looking rather weedy at the moment. January being our rainy month, I've been putting a lot of effort into planting new plants all over the property. And that means I haven't been doing a lot of work here in my garden. So the garden looks a bit neglected at the moment, but that's all right. All this extra vegetation is helping the garden cope with our very hot temperatures in the mid and high 30s. I have a number of zinnia plants growing down here on the side of Contour 1. And it's really lovely to see the diversity in flower colour. This is quite a nice red. We've got a nice purple, some oranges. This is a great example of the 3 different pinks we've got. And over on the other side of the walk, I've had my first white zinnia appear. And this one was a yellow one. I picked that for someone recently. And we've got some nice bright reds over here again. In order to have lots of zinnias around here, whenever a flower dies and the seeds dry, on this side, I take the seeds over to this side and plant them. And likewise, whenever a flower head over here dies and is finished, I take the seeds and plant them over on this side. So I'm hoping to have a lovely tunnel of zinnias to walk through. My purple king beans look like they're nearly finished. I thought they were going to go on forever. They've done such a good job of producing so many beans. I have saved some of the ones that were growing low to the ground for seed. So that one's pretty papery. Actually, I should pick that one before this rain comes. My jalapeno chilies are producing a lot of fruit. My capsicums are producing fruit. However, inside they tend to have yucky looking marks. This papaya is growing back with multiple branches. I need to reduce that back to just one on each side. This papaya had a couple of larger branches on it, but they broke off. And if I have a look at it now, it looks like these are going to break off too because there's not much strength to hold them on. That at the top there is very papery and thin. And you can see here where the other big branch broke off. It seems that there's nothing in the top of the stem to hold the branches on. So I might lose those branches in this next wind and rain too. Everything is looking all lovely and lush in this garden at the moment. Plants growing at different heights. It's rather beautiful. Yeah, I know there are lots of weeds here, but I actually don't get bothered by the weeds like I used to. I know they're part of the creation. I know they're part of what happens in the garden. And if they're not inhibiting my plants from growing, I don't see that they're causing a problem. Chop and drop row on the back of Contour 1 on the east is very tall now. This pigeon pea would be over 2 metres. And you can see it's got a lot of biomass here. This will be a lovely chop and drop when I bring that down. And the chop and drop row, it's all ready for another addition. Contour 2 on the east. Look at my rose bushes, they're going wild. I'm beginning to think that I should be training them up and over a trellis. They really are growing very well. And you can see my asparagus is growing very well too. Some of these branches are dying off. I don't think it's time for the whole plant to die off yet. My rhubarb is still growing well. It seems to have thrived in this environment. I'm not sure that the strawberries have done any good though. I think they may be struggling with the amount of shade that there is. I scattered a whole lot of carrot seeds in this space, which I'll probably end up pulling most of them out when I weed this area, but I can see some of these carrots have actually started to grow here. And there are some more there. And this area here where there's a lot of nutgrass, I scattered quite a number of carrot seeds too. I can't see any carrots coming up yet, but I'm not surprised. There are so many weeds here, I'm not sure I'd be able to see anything anyway. And that's my second rhubarb plant, and it's also doing well. I get to pick from it every couple of weeks. The rest of this space is just weeds, and maybe some of my strawberries have survived between the weeds, but maybe not. So a lot of these weeds came because I moved soil from elsewhere on the property to this space. At the end of the bed, I've planted okra. This end grapevine has taken a long time to get growing, but it's finally made it up to the first wire. Probably helped that I cut off all the side runners too, so that it only had one main leader that it was putting its energy into. I've planted a large number of geraniums underneath here. Geraniums have a strong scent and they can confuse pests. I love the lushness. That's the key word for this month. So very lush. A lot of weeds, yes, but it's still very lush and it's very beautiful. This grapevine has made it all the way up to the top. The rose has also made it up there and it's pulling it over, so I think I might need to prune that rose a little bit. The beans I planted here to get something off this trellis while I was waiting for the grapes, well, they're climbing up well too. I don't currently have a watering line along the back of this bed. I do have my 3 lines at the front where I was expecting to have asparagus, rhubarb and strawberries growing. I'm thinking it might be worth putting one back here to water the grapes. Not only that, I've put these beautiful archways across in here. And with these archways here, I'm wanting to plant some climbing beans, pumpkin, vines, cucumber, melons. And if I have a watering system along here, that will support those growing. The trellises that I put in went over to the Windbreak row. And yes, this sugarcane is creating a very fine, effective windbreak. But if I'm going to be planting my melons on this side as well, which I have here, I'm going to need a watering system over on this side too. You can see some more melons here, and there's another one there planted just near the base of the trellis. I've actually got my first rockmelon fruit here. So that's very exciting. I'm enjoying the thought of having homegrown rockmelon. And there's my first pumpkin on the archway. I'm glad it's on top. That means it's not going to fall down. But it's the first one there. And there's another little pumpkin here. The bananas I planted down on the soakage trench are all starting to grow. So I've got 10 bananas down here now. You can see the bathtubs where I've been saving rocks for my pond. I've now got 4 of them, and I've got some very large ones on top. I'm looking forward to being able to put them into use in my pond one day. I still hold the dream, even though it's taking a while to get there. Contour 1 in the middle. All the tomatoes gone, and the seeding carrots are all gone. I'm left with limes. I did give that a good prune, and now it's coming back with some new growth. The lemon tree is loaded with fruit, and I think we might have some that are almost ready. This lime tree was also well pruned, and now it's coming back. And I have some volunteer papayas from when I used worm castings to plant the various plants I put in here. So I'm going to try and move them. I don't have a papaya over here. It'd be lovely to be able to have another papaya there. The papayas in my garden were quite a beautiful feature when they were growing tall, and I really miss them. I do want to try and transplant these papayas. I've not had success transplanting papayas in the past. They seem to really not cope with it. Maybe now would be the perfect time before we get all this rain. My wedge garden on the north is looking really pretty with the beautiful rich growth of the rosella plant and the tall happy growth of the corn. It's quite a lovely garden. I have still a few red carrots going to seed over here. The mulberry is very tall. It is a dwarf mulberry. I have been pruning that and getting another crop of fruit from it. It's time to prune it again now that the fruit's mostly gone, and hopefully I'll get another crop of fruit from it. Good time to prune it because we're about to have rain, which will support the plant as it regrows. The syntropics row on contour 1 is also growing very lush. This Thai basil plant had grown very large and the stems had snapped, and I chose to prune it back to about knee-high, and it has come back beautiful and fresh with all these clean new leaves. They're great for salads. And the bees have been enjoying the flowers. Cat's whiskers is pretty, and another very healthy pigeon pea. In this archway, I have a vine here. I don't remember what it is. I think it might be cucumber. But it's got some flowers, so I guess I shall soon see. I have not yet extended the watering system from the vegetable side up the side of the trellis here. And I'm pretty sure that these plants would grow better if I did that. Looks like we have evidence here of a caterpillar feasting on this leaf. Ha, there we go. Lots of caterpillars. Let's take them to the chooks. On the vegetable side of contour 1 on the north, we have a lush garden of weeds. Oh yes, there are some vegetables here too. So I've got some okra growing here, and it looks like we have the climbing squash coming up now. I planted this ages ago and it's just now come up. I planted a couple over this side as well, so maybe they'll come up after all this rain that we're expecting. It's been nice to have eggplant in the garden again. I've got a couple more eggplants coming here. I don't like the look of those leaves. I've got zucchini this year. First time I've had successful zucchini. I've still got some problems, and you can see that these yellow ones are being attacked by fruit fly, and I'm not having success with those. However, I have got some from them, and you can see this one, that's a good size. That one should have been picked a couple of days ago, actually. This is a form of Lebanese zucchini. It's a white Lebanese zucchini. And this is a Lebanese zucchini that I was more interested in growing. In fact, this was the one that was on the packet. It seems to me that this was mixed up when the seeds were packaged because they both came from the same packet. Now, you saw I put the pool fencing down on the garden to lift the plants up off the ground, and I think it might have worked because I haven't had any of these plants melting this year. But I think with all this rain coming, it's very much time for me to weed around it and perhaps prune back some of the extra branches. This particular zucchini does look like it's been attacked less than the yellow one. It's lovely to finally have zucchini in my garden. My tomato bush here is finished. I'm so busy with planting all over the property that I haven't had much time to clean it up properly. All these tomatoes that are left were stung, so they're not edible. Contour 2 on the north. This has been a lovely jungle of flowers, and it's looking like it's coming to the end now. All these brassicas have finished flowering, and pretty soon they will provide seed that I can plant around the garden and continue the process. Thai basil, and the bees are just loving it. I'm hoping my arrowroot continues to grow thick and lush because I'm planning this coming planting season to use it as a surface mulch, putting it through the mulcher and spreading it around my new plantings. I'm hoping to not bring in any more mulch. Maybe I'll still bring in some manure, but I'm trying to avoid bringing in anything that I don't need to. Now, the vegetable side of Contour 2. I haven't been paying a lot of attention to this garden either, and everything's looking a bit neglected. The celery's just not growing any height, and I wonder if that's because of the clay. I wonder if that's because of the watering. We haven't had a lot of rain, and even though I've been watering, it's really needed some soaking rain to water the entire garden. My parsley's going to seed. Looks like those carrots are going to seed too. My capsicums, I've not had a lot of success. They tend to fall off very quickly before they're ripe, before they're large, and they go all brown. So I've actually taken to picking them immature. This is the first capsicum that's actually ripened with some colour for a very long time. Wild rocket, that's now starting to go to seed. Look at the lushness in this garden. It's really pretty. The avocados and the papayas growing back. Contour 3 on the north. I've planted some more succulents in here. I haven't yet planted more chop and drop plants, but that will come. So I have a lot of succulents along here. Along this end of Contour 3, I have actually planted some other plants. There's a little Yandina that won't do much for chop and drop, but it will be pretty. Some arrowroot, and I've planted a whole bunch of coleus. So they're just for pretty's sake. It's nice to have pretty in the garden. And they do grow, and I can prune them. You'll also notice that some of the daikon radish is growing back. The daikon radish was growing here last season, and they dropped a lot of seed, and now I've got some growing back here. My fig plants here have got some nice new growth on them. That's pleasing to see, and it looks like this one's also producing its first fruit. This one's got no fruit on it yet. Looks like I need to prune some of these leaves out of this poinciana. And this one has fruit, but they appear to be... What's going on here? Is that ash? Is that... I don't know. Oh, I know what that is. That's worm tea. So that's the soil and the silt from my worm farm when I throw the worm tea over the plant. That's okay. That would have introduced healthy bacteria to the garden and help it grow strong. Yeah, I need to prune this back because it's creating too much shade, and the fig trees won't thrive with too much shade. The sweet potato's growing well here. I don't like that I have to keep pulling it out of the fruit tree row, and so I've made a decision to create a separate sweet potato bed. And I've planted some here, and that's growing fine. So next time I harvest sweet potato from here, I can completely remove it. Another variety of sweet potato here, which is also encroaching on everything. Sweet potato does that. It just grows everywhere, and it's very prolific. So with having a sweet potato bed right in the middle of the walking space, we can just mow around it. I didn't even bother digging up the soil for it. I did bury one runner and I watered it once, but other than that I just dumped the rest of the prunings on top of it, and it seems to be looking like it's going to grow. So I have planted potatoes along the entire length here. I left some of the carrots that had been sown previously, and there is one lone silver beet. I've planted Desiree, Sebago, Dutch cream, chat, more Sebago and some Kipfler all along here. These two apple plants have finally got some height on them. Looks like they're going to be all right. They've taken a long time to grow. And the pomegranate has a number of fruit growing and ripening. I'm looking forward to pomegranate again this year. I have started a fourth contour. It just looks like a grassy weed patch at the moment. I intend to plant only natives in this chop and drop row, perhaps a bunch of wattle. I'll go along to Landcare and see what they recommend. The nectarines that I planted here, oh, look at this new growth. I'm happy with that. This is a nectarine. That's a purple sweet potato. This is an apricot. Here's another melon. Here we go, here's some fruit. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's good. That's exciting. I also planted pigeon pea all along here, and I don't see any of that coming up. Here's another melon. Do we have anything set yet? This is red cherry of Rio de Grande. I don't know what the fruit is. I've never had it before. And I thought it had died off, but it has a new shoot and it's growing happily there. I also planted a stack of daikon radish along here. And this is a cherry guava, and it's growing slowly, but it's growing. So this is my contour 4. It's taking a bit of time to get established, but I guess I planted very young fruit trees along here. Oh, if you look in the distance on our driveway, you can see a hare on the left-hand end of the driveway, and you can see a wallaby further up on the right. There goes the hare. 2, 3. I saw 6 this morning. It's a lovely place to live. And I've been doing a lot of planting down the front here, creating a bit of a jungle, a tropical jungle to walk through. I'm grateful for this place. It's a very lovely place to live. And I'm thankful for my garden.